Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast. My name is Amir. The Miami Heat just lost 114 to 94 in the first game of the 1-8 matchup versus the Boston Celtics. Disappointing loss, but is it really disappointing at this point? Like, we already knew that the Miami Heat were going to have trouble against Boston without Jimmy Butler, without Terry Rozier, and with Duncan Robinson not at full health and compromised. So, am I shocked that the Miami Heat got destroyed today? Not at all. Are there some good things that we could look at and take away from this? And is it okay to have a moral victory, essentially? I think it's okay because we knew after Jimmy Butler got injured against the 76ers in the first playing game and that he was going to be out for at least 2 to 4 weeks, that we weren't going to have him in the first round if we were to win that Bulls game, which we did. And we just knew it was going to be insurmountable, honestly. It wasn't impossible, but it's going to be super improbable for the Miami Heat to, one, beat the Celtics, but two, even stay competitive and take this possibly to 6 games. And I made a prediction on the roundtable 2 days ago. I think I said that I think the Celtics are going to win in 5. So I'm giving the Miami Heat the opportunity to be competitive in at least a couple of the games and pull out one victory is what I'm hoping for. So the gentleman's sweep is what I predicted, and this team just doesn't look good enough without their best star player, Jimmy Butler, and without their third best player and one of their best scorers, Terry Rozier. And the Boston Celtics are just the best team in the NBA. I mean, plain and simple. So that was the regular season, but the barometer of the playoffs is how well did you do as a regular season team? And the Boston Celtics had the best record in the East and the NBA. They were the number one offense in the NBA. They had the best offensive rating of all time in the history of the NBA, and they were also the number 2 defense. So not only are they really amazing at scoring the ball and hitting threes, they're number one, obviously, in 3-point percentage. They're also one of the best lockdown defensive teams in the NBA. And the Miami Heat had a tough time, again, without shot creators. Um, they had a tough time not being able to score the ball. Like, the best thing about the Boston Celtics defense is that they don't really have to double team or rotate. Really, they can play guys straight up and fight through the screens, and even if they don't, they're okay with the switch. Like, Tyler Herro was in jail against Drew Holiday. Like, if he gets off Drew Holiday, then he has to go against Derek White, who's also a really good all NBA-esque type of defender. They said on the broadcast he's the number one leader in blocks for all guards in the NBA. So he also blocked Tyler in that game when Tyler made it to the paint. I think 1 out of 3 times that he actually got downhill, he got blocked on a floater by Derek White. So we all know Tyler Herro doesn't play well against size, but that's the biggest advantage on defense, is that they don't have to worry. They're great with man-to-man matchups, and they're tall and lengthy, and they're the second best defense. They have rim protection with Porzingis. They have Drew Holiday, who's one of the best defenders in the NBA in the last decade or so. Tatum has gotten better. Brown is not bad. Derek White is really good. Like, they have a really, really good team, and they showed that. To start the game, I mean, the Heat came out cold, which was expected. They had some jitters, I believe, but the Celtics came out extremely hot. They went on a 14-0 run, and I thought, oh, here we go. We're going to lose by 50 at this point. But the Miami Heat fought back in that first quarter, and Bam Adebayo, hit the first few shots. He was being really aggressive this game. He didn't play amazing, but he did play well enough, essentially. He didn't have a lot of help, and that's fine because, again, we had 2 of our best players out this game. So what can you honestly expect? But Bam Adebayo came out, hit some shots, got to the free throw line in the first quarter, and the Heat came back after what looked like was going to be a huge blowout. They're down by, I think, 17 at most in the first quarter, and they ended up going into the second quarter down 26-21. So I was like, wow, the Miami Heat, like, they took the Boston Celtics first few punches and they were able to fight back, and go on one of their own runs, which was great. But then in the second quarter, they got outscored by 10 points. Um, they got outscored 34-24. So the Celtics ran the lead up to like 15 points, and it was all based on like 3-point shooting, really. So the Miami Heat, I guess their strategy outside of the zone, which is not really effective when you have a 7'2" Porzingis at the nail, basically breaking down that zone and finding shooters all day long, didn't really help. But also, what didn't help is when we were playing man, we were blitzing and double teaming Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Derek White way too early. And all they were doing simply was just swinging the ball, moving the ball, and finding the open shooter. And they just killed us on 3-pointers. Um, let's see, they were 22 for 49 from three. They had 45% from three, and they had 6 in the first quarter alone. They were 6 for 10, shooting 60%. And at halftime, don't remember the exact number, but they had like 14 threes going into half to Miami's 3, I believe. And so the Heat, we knew they were going to have to pick up the pace, which they did try to play transition basketball, which was great. We'll get into Jovic and Jaquez and other guys who will give flowers to, but the Heat just weren't shooting enough threes, and they were also missing the threes that they were taking in the first half. And so, in order to compete without Jimmy Butler, without Terry Rozier, 2 20-point scorers, the Miami Heat need to hit threes, and it's going to be difficult when one, Duncan Robinson is limited, not playing much. When Kevin Love, for some reason, is not getting any playoff time. He played 5 minutes in the first quarter or half, excuse me, and he had 7 points and like 3 rebounds. And I don't know why Spo didn't continue to play him. He only played 13 minutes total and had only 1 rebound in the second quarter or second half, excuse me. So 7 points, 4 rebounds for Kevin Love. So the 3-point shooting was horrible, I think, for the Miami Heat. They were bad. They did pick it up, which we'll get into later, and made their percentage, I guess, a little bit respectable. But yeah, man, we just could not stop them. Hauser, did his best Nicholas Batum impression in that first half. He only played 14 minutes, but he had 12 points. He had 12 points in 9 minutes, basically. So he had 4 threes, 4 for 6, just killed us. So anytime we tried to come back, they just kept hitting shot after shot. And that third quarter was just horrible. The Miami Heat only scored 14 points, came out super flat in that third quarter. Super frustrating. Got outscored 31-14. The Heat were down by like 30 something at one point until the fourth quarter. The Miami Heat outscored the Celtics 35-23, which really didn't matter because we still lost by 20 points. And it was a fake, nice little comeback. But I want to give credit to DeLon Wright coming in and getting 5 3-pointers, I believe, all in the fourth quarter. Hit 5 in a row, was 5 for 5, 6 for 7 from the field overall, 17 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. So he tried to get us back in the game, and he kind of did. We got to 14 or 15, I believe, was the closest from like a 33-point lead in the fourth quarter with like 3.5, 4 minutes to go, but it just wasn't enough. The Heat could not score, could not stop the Celtics. They brought the lead back up to 20 plus, and they won the game easily. And so, again, I'm not mad, honestly, because, again, I picked the Heat to lose in 5. So all expectations were out the window when Jimmy injured his knee. That's plain and simple. So this season has been defined by injuries, and it's frustrating, but it is what it is at this point. So I was mentioning in other videos when we're going into the game against the Bulls, I wanted the Heat to win so that we can get experience for the Jays, our Jays. So Jaime, Jaquez, and Jovic, but also I wanted Bam and Tyler to get some more experience, obviously, in the playoffs, but also showcase what they can do as the next iteration potentially of this build once Jimmy Butler gets either traded, not saying he's going to get traded, or retires in the next few years. Bam's 26, Tyler's 24. So we wanted to see what this duo can potentially do, but then also what that core 4 can do, because it seems like the future is, I don't know about Tyler Herro, we'll see, but the future for now, right now, the core 4 is Bam, Tyler, Jaquez, and Jovic. Those are our young guys. And with Jimmy and Terry out, because Terry's 30, Jimmy's 34, the average age of our starting lineup was 24 years old. So super young. And we had two guys making their playoff debuts in Jovic and Jaquez, and they played great. So I want to give all the credit in the world to Jaquez. Jaquez outplayed Tyler Herro, which I think is embarrassing for Tyler Herro because Jaquez is a rookie. Tyler Herro's in his fifth season. He has a max deal. He's been in the playoffs, even though he's missed a lot of the playoff games, but he's been in the playoffs multiple times. He was in the finals as a rookie, played really well. And he just didn't show up tonight, which is fine. But again, what do we expect? Like Tyler's our third best player, possibly fourth now that Terry's here. But I don't know. The expectations of Tyler Herro are so all over the place with Miami Heat fans, especially Heat Twitter, with the Tyler Herro fans who never criticize Tyler. Like he's the golden child. He can do whatever he wants. He could play inconsistent like he has been all throughout his career. He could be injured for so long, but they dismiss anything that he does wrong. Like they're not objective whatsoever. And then there's the flip side, and I fall into that category every once in a while because I'm neutral when it comes to Tyler Herro. I like Tyler Herro. I don't think he's going to be an all-star. Of course, he's not going to be a superstar. Do I think he's trash and horrible? No. But we put expectations on him, and that's because he puts those expectations on himself. He's talked about how he wants to be in the past in the same category as Luka and Trae Young and other superstars like Devin Booker or whatever. And so those are his expectations, and he's not playing that way. And he has grown, he has developed, but he's hit a wall. Like he is who he is. He's an inconsistent shooter. He is a sometimes 3-level shooter, but he has trouble against athletic, lengthy players. You see that he gets blocked often. He got his 3 blocked by I forgot who it was. I think it was Jaylen Brown who blocked him. So consistently gets his shot blocked. Consistently gets stripped. Also, he got stripped at least a couple times in that game. So he's not the best ball handler, but he is a streaky shooter. He is capable, but we already know his limitations. He's not the best defender. He gets hunted a lot. That's fine. But you're our best player, essentially, with Bam Adebayo out there, and you are making $100 million, and you have 5 points going into the fourth quarter, shooting 2 for 10 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3. You had 5 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 shots blocked, which were not turnovers, but lost possessions. And you're making $100 million. You're one of our highest paid players. So Bam played definitely better than you did, even though he didn't have a perfect game. But you had 5 points going into the fourth. DeLon Wright off the bench in 12 minutes. That was in 25 minutes for Tyler at that point. DeLon Wright off the bench before he came into the fourth quarter and had the barrage of 3-pointers. He had 5 points also on 2 for 3 shooting. Tyler had the same amount on 10 shots. Unacceptable for Tyler. I know we put a lot of expectations on him, but he does it to himself as well. He wants to be considered a top player. He wants to be a starter. He needs to come to the reality and understand that he's closer to Lou Williams, Jordan Clarkson, Jamal Crawford than he is ever going to be close to a Devin Booker, even a Bradley Beal, or even a CJ McCollum. He's probably like the best. I would say he's like a CJ McCollum type. He needs to accept that. He's not going to be an all-star, and he could be borderline all-star, but that's just who he is. And again, this is not all on Tyler. We had horrible shooting across the board. Caleb Martin played terribly as well. Haywood Highsmith, obviously we don't think he's going to like consistently be a scorer and hit that 3, but he was 0 for 4, 0 points. Duncan, again, only played 15 minutes, 5 points, 2 for 4, 1 for 3 from 3. It's not just on Tyler, but it's not good enough. 34 minutes, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 for 13, 3 for 9, two turnovers. He hit a couple threes late that were meaningless at that point in garbage time, essentially. So Tyler Herro and Caleb Martin didn't play good at all, but our 2Js did. So Jaime Jaquez in his first game ever in a playoff match, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 8 for 16 shooting, 1 steal. He played really good, really aggressive, wasn't scared, and he's going to be a cornerstone in the future for this Miami Heat. So really excited that Jaime was up for the moment and played really well. And same with Jovic. He didn't shoot the best, 3 for 9 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, but he had 10 points, 6 rebounds, 1 block, leading the break on transition, getting some rebounds for us that were key against a really big team with Porzingis and Horford and Tatum and Brown. So he did not look scared at all, and he was being aggressive as well, which is a good thing. So the biggest takeaways for this is just, yeah, Jaquez, Jovic getting some good experience, played well enough to contribute. DeLon Wright, two-way, played amazing defensively. If he could shoot like this guy needs to start next game, and we need to put Caleb Martin back on the bench, I think, at this point, especially if Terry Rozier is going to miss the next 2 games. So we desperately need Terry Rozier, obviously, since Jimmy Butler is not going to come back. And yeah, the Miami Heat just need to shoot better. Don't double team early. Run the Boston Celtics off the 3-point line and hope for the best. But anyway, that's all I have for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.